What's up, everybody? Thank you for coming back to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's Ara. So this morning I woke up and Bishop Whitehead said that they caught the men that robbed his church, the ATF. But I don't understand how the alcohol and tobacco task force had anything to do with catching a robbery. So this is a press conference he did after the arraignment of the three men that he said robbed him and his church at gunpoint in July, I believe. You could listen to him, watch it. There's a point in it where they ask him what kind of watch he's wearing, and he went off and said the reporters didn't ask about how his family is doing, how his wife is doing. But sir, none of these press conferences have I seen your wife, or none of these videos have I seen your wife. So you saying that she's still scared and your kids are still scared, your behavior isn't doing anything to remedy that. Anyway, this is the video of him talking about the press conference. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks again. Bye.
All right, just let me know.
Everybody. How are you? Good afternoon, good afternoon. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon.
Bishop, your thoughts? We saw Mr. Polak staring you down as you walked into the courtroom.
Well, let me just first give my address and then I'll answer whatever questions that I can answer. First, I want to thank the NYPD and the ATF for doing an impeccable job. At this time, 2 out of the 3 suspects were captured today. I received a phone call this morning around 6:30 in the morning, waking me up and stating that they have caught 2 of the 3 suspects. First, I really want to thank God. This has been a trying time for me and my family. It's just been really nerve-wracking. The media plastered my address throughout online, and what you guys didn't know that I couldn't really talk about, there was an attempt home invasion at my home, and they tried to steal my cars, come out of my driveway because my address plastered around. This is a win today because the narrative that was posted and presented that I had something to do with this robbery, and it has destroyed my life. This was turned around from me being a victim to a villain, and today, God gave me and my family the victory, and they were able to catch these 2 young men, and there's another one at large, and I'm hoping that they cooperate with the federal prosecutors. This is a federal case, and I'm hoping that they cooperate with the federal prosecutors. I'm hoping that they get that we get justice. One of the young men was released on bail, and hey, I respect whatever the prosecutor and the judge and whoever was a part of that deal, and I trust in this justice system. But however, my family and my church have been very traumatized, and they have changed me to look like a person on the street instead of a man of the cloth and clergy. Not only am I a bishop, but I also have my PhD in theology and business. So I am also a doctor. I'm a smart, well-rounded young black man. And to be looked at as a villain instead of a victim really traumatized my family and really traumatized my church. I've lost so many members because of the fear of coming back to church, because of people just walking in the church after July 24th, doing what they want to do. Doing what they want to do. I want to thank my wife, Lamor Whitehead, for standing next to me and standing beside me during this time, and we're standing next to each other. She wanted to be here today, but she's just still afraid. She's still afraid. My children still have trouble sleeping, and a lot of my members still call me to this day crying because of the trauma. I'm hoping that this clears a lot of things up with my name, as far as, you know, the world believing that I'm a villain instead of a victim, and it hurts. I thank God for my attorney who walked with me every step of the way, Don Florio, and my civil attorney who could not be here today because of what happened. It was too fast. His name is Brian Ponder. And I'm just really thankful for the greatest church on earth, Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being out here. So I'll take questions now.
Bishop, how does this clear your name? Mr. Pollard.
Say that one more time.
Your thoughts on Mr. Pollard staring you down as you walk into that court?
Well, I'm glad you were there, and I'm glad you were able to see the villain that he is, right? And I'm glad you were there to see the hate and to see the viciousness that he had in his eyes for me, and how he stared me down to try to intimidate me. But I'm not going to be intimidated. And I'm glad you were there to see that I'm a victim. And once again, he tried to intimidate me. A preacher, a young man that was illegally convicted, a young man whose father was beat and strangled to death by 16 police officers because of the color of his skin, Arthur Miller, in 1978. A young man that had to grow up without a father. And I'm glad you were there. I'm glad Pix 11 was there to witness, because you guys might not have believed me. You haven't believed me with anything else. So I thank you, sir, for being there and seeing the intimidation. And I forgive him. I forgive him. The Bible says in Matthew 6:14-15, it says, if God forgives us our trespasses, then we have to forgive others their trespasses. And I forgive them. And I thank God for allowing me and my family to be here and not be dead on July 24th.
How does this clear your name? You said this clears your name. How does it clear your name?
Because the tabloids and everybody has been talking about the narrative of the Bling Bling Bishop and the Bling Bling Pastor, and he had to have something to do with it. Why is it taking so long for him to be, for the criminals to be caught? Well, the reason why it was taking long, because it changed from a state to a federal case, and they were doing what they had to do. I'm not a police officer, nor am I a federal agent, but I cooperated with the agent every time they called me, and they will tell you that. Every time they called me, any pictures and anything that they needed, they were able to get it from me without any delay at all. So the media and social medias and the bloggers and the bloggers have changed me to a victim, a villain instead of a victim. So that's what I'm talking about. My career in real estate has tumbled because of the tabloids speaking to the sense of me being the villain and me having something to do with it. And nobody wanted to do anything with me. None of the politicians called me to check on me anymore. Nobody called me anymore. So it was just me and my family and my church family. So that's what cleared.
So the chief of detectives said today, basically, that the reason this happened, or what their motive, is that these men saw you flashy. They knew where your church was. So, I mean, you spoke to that, but what do you make of it?
Well, that was an assumption. I watched it, and it was an assumption, and it's still further investigation. So, you know, he's assuming there's a lot of different things that's up in the air. There's a lot of things that's in the air. It's a heavy investigation where there's tons of different units that's a part of this investigation. So, you know, I think that I should be able to wear what I want to wear. I think I should be able to dress the way I want to dress. You know, when you look at the Pope, his robes are nearly $50,000, you know, but there is no talk about that at all, you know. But me as an African-American young man, you know, I'm ridiculed. I'm called different names. So I believe that was just an assumption and their opinion at now.
Do you know the suspects?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
What have the 2 past months been like for your wife and this person that you've been?
Hell. It's been hell. My family just came back home. We've been paying for them I've been paying for them to stay in a hotel. My daughter, my kids still can't sleep at all. They can't sleep. The trauma, I've never understood the trauma of this type of robbery. You know, you watch these things on TV, but until you actually are a part of it, you never understand. This is trauma. I'm talking about my members call me crying. If not every day, every other day. My daughter crying and scared. Every slam of a car door, she turns around, she's startled. So this has been hell. And then to not be believed, to not be believed and to be ridiculed on the way I dress. And, you know, it's just, you know, I thought I was a victim, but I just turned into a villain. And it's hell, to answer your question.
Sir, have you ever
Bishop, did
you in any way before the robbery know these 2 men? Or
did you ever see them before?
I've never seen them before a day in my life, and this was groundbreaking for me, because when you haven't seen them, you know, you don't know what they look like, you know. And I couldn't wait. You know, this morning I was up for 5 a.m. prayer, because we're on 5 a.m. prayer for the last year, 7 days a week. And I was up for 5 a.m. prayer. And when I dozed back off, then I got this phone call, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I was so anxious to see what these gentlemen look like, because I've never seen them before. I didn't know their names. So when I seen them today, I never saw them before, you know. And then I started to say, wow, you know, why would these young men do this to me? Why would these young men do this to me? You know, we always talk about racism, and we always talk about other ethnicities coming against the black community. But these were my own brothers. So what is our excuse now? What is our excuse now?
What are your thoughts on the late disclosure that they're in plea discussions?
Well, like I said, I'm leaving that up to the prosecutor, and I know that the judge said that they were giving them a window for plea discussions. So I don't know if they're already having plea discussions. But what I do, yeah, that's in every case, as my attorney just said. That's in every case. So I don't think that I don't know if they're in plea discussions, but I know that the next date for court, which I will be here, is October 28th. And I will be here, and I'm going to monitor this and whatever they need from me, you know. And I'm hoping and praying that these young men speak, because there's I don't know, but I feel that there's more to the story. I feel that there's more people to this, and I feel that, you know, because for you to have the courage to walk inside of a house of worship, it has to be something else to this. So I'm hoping that they will cooperate with the police department, the ATF, and the NYPD, and anything that's hidden, I'm hoping that it's uncovered. Any names that have been a part of this crime, I'm hoping that the no snitching rule is out the window. And I'm hoping, because at the end of the day, they pull a gun not only on me to the back of my head, but my wife and my 8-month-old daughter. And I do have video that I will be showing later on this week or maybe next week. But I did not put it up there, but you guys will be able to see the inside of everything that happened. And you know, because I think the people in the world needs to see the traumatization of my church and how all of them had to, it's like a wave, they just all flew on the floor and they were all on top of each other, And when you guys see that, then I think that you guys will have trauma that my family is going through.
Do you know if they have any connections with the church? Have you heard their names? Do you know if you didn't know who they were, but do you know?
I don't know their names. Their names are not unfamiliar to me. Their names are unfamiliar to me, and their faces are unfamiliar to me. I was hoping to come out here and say, I've seen that young man before because I do a lot of community work. I help a lot of kids. I help a lot of young men out of prison. I help them reform their life. So I'm around a lot of young people. I'm around a lot of gang members. I'm around a lot of people, a lot of people that have felonies and different things of that nature. And I was hoping to see some type of connection of how did they just pick me out? Because, you know, think about it. Just think about it. I'm outside. I'm not inside. I'm outside doing a lot of community work, right? And the same jury that they stole from me is the same jury I have on all the time. Why would you go into the church, right? And I think every pastor, I think every imam, I think every rabbi and whatever religious leader you are, I think we should step up and stand together to protect the houses of worship. Because this could have happened anywhere, right? It's not like I didn't have my jury on when I'm outside. Why would you come into the church? Why would you come into the church and do what you've done? Because you know we don't have any weapons, because you know we're at peace, you know that we're coming to serve our Jesus, right? And that's just wrong.
Bishop, did you said the politicians stopped calling you. Does that include the mayor?
I haven't heard from the mayor in a while. And like I said, I believe that, you know, a lot of people were scared off. I think a lot of people were scared off because of the picture that I was painted to be involved with this heinous crime.
Are you scared you'll be targeted again?
Am I scared? No, I'm not scared. Am I going to be targeted again? I don't know, but I'm not scared.
Have you increased security at your church?
Much expensive.
Have you increased security at your church?
Yes.
How was that lady able to get in and, you know, come
Well,
at
she
you?
was she came up and she said what she said in front of me. I allowed her to say, and she was a woman. You know what I mean? She was a woman. She screamed, she hollered, she cursed, she did everything. And as I turned my back to go back up into the pulpit, that's when, if you see the video, she walked up. I thought she was leaving. Then she turned around and then started yelling at my wife and beeline to my wife, and she had a bag underneath her arm. So I didn't know what was going on. And no, I did not choke her. No, I did not choke her. I grabbed her from the back of her shirt, and I had the mic in my hand, and I grabbed her shoulder, and I pushed her out. I did not choke the young lady at all, okay? I don't have no fingernails, so I didn't scratch her. She scratched herself. And if you look at all of the video that I've been, that the media has been posting, when she went downstairs, she started to say, I'm going viral, I'm going viral, I'm going viral. It was all a setup for bloggers and to desensitize my holiness and desensitize me as a man. My mom raised me by herself. I am pro-woman. My grandmother's my best friend. She's 107 years old. She'll be 108 in May, right? So I don't harm women. I'm not abusive, and all I want to do is protect my wife and my daughter. You guys have to understand, the last time somebody went towards my wife and my daughter, they had a gun in their hand and a gun in my 8-month-old baby's face. What am I supposed to do when this young lady has something under her arm?
Are you going to wear less bling?
So you're not, again?
What are you doing differently now?
As far as what?
How are you, your services, your security, anything? What has changed?
Well, what has changed, I've chose for the next few weeks to do everything online. Just to give the confidence back to my church and to calm things down, do everything virtual for now until further notice. Security is up, and I'm just repositioning leaders. A lot of my leaders resigned because of fear, because of their family being afraid that this is supposed to be a house of worship, not a club, or a house of worship and not somewhere where you have to, as soon as the door opens, everybody's turning around. It's nuts. As soon as you hear the door or somebody speaks, my whole church turn around. So I wanted to settle down and just go online for a few weeks until further notice.
Are you going to wear less bling so you're less of a target?
Well, I will wear what I've been blessed with by God when I feel like it. You know, that's it. You know, I don't, you know, everyone says that I was targeted. You know, it's amazing to me about how we all forget about the shooting in the church in the Carolinas and the mass shootings in the churches down south, right? The pastor didn't have any jury on, right? But at the end of the day, just to make a story to make me look like I deserve it. See, when you guys ask me that and say, well, are you going to wear less jewelry so you won't be targeted? It makes me feel like you feel that I deserve it because...
I'm not suggesting
no, I'm not saying it, but this is just what the media is building around because you guys go into my... when I was illegally incarcerated and sent away to prison, you guys put the bling bling bishop and identity theft, but nobody wants to give the story on that I have search warrants that was illegal. Search warrants where the judge's signatures was forged. Nobody wants to talk about how the district attorney that was over my case in Suffolk County, his name was Thomas Spoda, that he had a federal indictment, he had to resign. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about that, but everybody wants to talk about my felony conviction, but nobody wants to talk about how I have 5 affidavits from 5 different lawyers that states that the DA hid all of the evidence from them. Nobody wants to talk about that. That's not a story. But the story is that he went to prison and he served 5-6 years in prison and he's not to be trusted, but nobody wants to talk about Thomas Spoda, who has been federally indicted and had to be resigned and was arrested in Suffolk County. He was the district attorney over my case. Let's talk about that. Why don't we talk about that, right? But the New York Times, identity theft, Bishop, this, Daily News, same thing, right? But nobody wants to talk about that, the good things. Let's talk about why none of you guys were there when I gave $25,000 back to school for at Cookie's department store. Where were you guys at then? We sent out the press release. Nobody was there, right? But as soon as something that you guys feel that's going to give you guys some type of traction, and you guys don't know how it hurts my family, right? Let's do a story on that.
Do you think you were targeted?
As far as, what do you mean targeted as far as what?
Because they knew that you wear expensive items?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I was targeted. I don't know. Obviously, they had to do their homework on me if they came in like that to rob a church, right? To rob a church, they had to do something, and they had to be brave.
What kind of watch are you wearing now?
It doesn't matter. There you go again. You see here talking about what type of watch am I wearing, but you haven't yet asked me how's my wife doing. This is my point. This is my point. You never asked me how's my daughter doing. You want to sit here and talk about a watch, right? You didn't ask me how's my mom doing, that she cries every time I speak to her. You didn't ask me how my family doing. You talking about a watch. Who cares about a watch? I care about my family, right? And you guys are not going to keep with the narrative of material things, okay? I am a person. I am a human being, okay? All right? Let's talk about that.
What happened with the home invasion? You mentioned it was a home invasion?
Well, it's under investigation. It was a tip home invasion.
When did this happen?
This happened about 3 weeks ago.
In New Jersey?
Yes.
What's a tip?
Well, they tried to get in the house, and they didn't know that I had security there, and once they found out, they ran.
Anything that's connected to this robbery?
I don't know.
You say about 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
Being investigated by?
The police.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, we can do this. Yeah, we can do this. You get this turn to me. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for all the prayers, all the love, and all the support. God bless you guys, and I'll see y'all later.